right, so I decided to check out Drive Away Dolls. It's directed by Ethan Coen, who co-wrote it with Tricia Cooke, his wife. Right? It is produced by Ethan Coen, Tricia Cooke, Tim Bevan, Eric Fellner, and Robert Graff. It's co-produced by Karen Ruth Getchell and Liz Tan. Carter Burwell took care of the music. Ari Wegner was on cinematography. Tricia Cooke edits the piece. Right? Ellen Chenworth and Rachel Tenner took care of the casting. Young-Uk Lee is production design. W. Hale Ho and Gregory A. Weimskirk were down with the art direction. Set decoration is Nancy Haig. Peggy Schnitzer is with the costume design. Hair, makeup, prosthetics, all of that jazz. We got Angie Melhorn, Brian Walsh, Vincent Van Dyke, Jason Renner, Christopher Patrick, Christopher Allen Nelson, Eve Negley, Darlene Nagy, Marian Mullins Davis, Krista Montgomery, Nancy Kessler, Stephen Imhoff, Laurie Goodroz, Jesse Gordon, Doug Farrell, Jean Ann Black, and Felicia Bates. Our cast. Okay, so we have got Jamie is played by Margaret Qualley. Her friend Marian is played by Geraldine Viswanathan. Jamie's girlfriend Suki is played by Beanie Feldstein. We've got Marian's Aunt Ellis, played by Connie Jackson. Carla is played by Annie Gonzalez. Right, we've got the Goon, played by Joe Slotnick. We've got the Penis Collector, played by Pedro Pascal. The Chief, played by Colman Domingo. Bill Camp is Curly. Senator Gary Chanel is played by Matt Damon. Cicero's waiter is played by Gordon MacDonald. Bart is played by Sam Varholmers. We got Doreen, played by Abby Hilden. There is a younger version of Senator Chanel, is played by Jordan Zatwoski. A young version of Marian is played by Samsara Lailayet. The sunbathing woman is played by Savannah Ziegler, and her husband, played by Michael Warden. El Conquistador Des Clark is played by Braxton McCullum. Amber is played by Lane Lazar. The cop, played by Phil McFall. We got the hotel maid, played by Christina Contreza. The chauffeur, played by Michael Edelstein. Sugar and Spice DJ, played by Michaela Minna. Our Thugs in the Alley, played by Billy Hugh and Alex Halpern. The bellboy, played by Josh Fitter. So our soccer girls They are played by Hayley Holmes, Fatima Fine, Sam Mazzi, as well as Brianna Bew, Ligera Edmonds Allen, Lisa Nazo, and Jaden Solovey. Yeah, I would say that's probably our core group of people in the film. The gist is this, right? We follow Jamie, an uninhibited free spirit, bemoaning yet another breakup with a girlfriend, and her demure friend Marian, who desperately needs to loosen up. In search of a fresh start, the two embark on an impromptu road trip to Tallahassee, but things quickly go awry when they cross paths with a group of inept criminals along the way. This is, watching it is an odd film, right? Now, I'd heard about this film, right? I knew it was coming. I heard it was these, meant to be a trilogy in a way, right? But a different kind of trilogy. And that it was kind of, what's the word? Molded, let's say, around like 70s exploitation films. So I think when you know that, you can look at it in a slightly different way, right? Because we start off with Pedro Pascal's character and, what happens with him. Then we go on to meeting Jamie and Marian, right? I mean, we meet Jamie, right? We meet Jamie. I think it's Carla she's with at the beginning. And that is, there's a lot. There's a lot, right? You do kind of look at it and go, why wouldn't Pascal's character at least have some way of protecting himself? Not to say it doesn't have to end how it ended with him, but you kind of think you know what you've got yourself into. So you kind of be trying to look after yourself, right? And he just isn't. The whole thing with the bin lid and everything is just like he doesn't do anything. So it's all kind of odd. All of that's kind of odd. Then I think Marian and Jamie are friends, but you don't really know why. There's that whole thing in the synopsis like, oh, Marian needs to change. I mean, she doesn't, right? She doesn't necessarily need to change. And it's not really an impromptu trip because Marian is planning to go see her aunt, right? It's just the fact that Jamie has decided to tag along. So we have all of this. And then their adventures, right? Marian trying to push Jamie trying to push Marian, should I say, into casual sex and all of this kind of thing. But yeah, it's, I think that nuance of the relationship that we don't really get, I don't think it really comes across. Then there's these bits with this story. So, like Suki, that whole thing, because, it's ended. Jamie doesn't really seem that cut up, right? I mean, she gets caught. She gets caught, right? So we have that. But then also, all the weirdness Suki does, you are a little bit baffled by it all. I think as well, like, the story is this thing, and that's all fine. But I think the big thing about it is no one would know. Right? That is like people are doing all of these things to try and cover up this thing. But no one's going to know. No one's going to know. It's not like that's the only size one. Right? I imagine there's probably millions, billions of people with the same size. So to go, everyone would know it's this thing doesn't make any sort of sense. Right? There's no way to say it is. So all it really is one person's word against another, which then you kind of go, so why this whole thing? Why this whole thing around it? I don't know. Right? That is the issue with the whole plot itself. Right? It's kind of built on sand. It's kind of built on sand. So you just think, okay, the story doesn't really add up to anything because of this thing. You know what I mean? Then you've got all the other stuff going down in it. Like, some of it feels like it's there for the shock, right? So you look at it like that. But here's the thing. This is what I mean. Like, when you know it's kind of based around the old exploitation films, you can go, okay, yes, because this is what they were like, right? When you see some of those old crazy ass films, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of nudity, you know what I mean? All of these things are there, and you do go, wait, why is that person topless? Why are they doing that thing? Why did we see that? You know what I mean? So it does make sense from that aspect of things. You know, we do see a young Marian, which is all fine, but I think it would have been interesting seeing how Marian and Jamie actually became friends, because they are so different, right? The lifestyles and everything like that. You know, it's different, it's crazy. So it's just like, how did they become friends? What happened there? That would have been, maybe that is explored in one of the 2 sequels. I'm not sure. It's not really said. But it's definitely out there as a film. Right? Definitely out there as a film. There are certain things that do seem a little tropey and predictable, you know. Again, that might just be because they're going, right, so yeah, these exploitation films were predictable, were tropey, so let's really play into all of that. It could be that. I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to Ethan or Tricia, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think if you are a exploitation, no. I was gonna say, if you're an exploitation fan, that doesn't sound right? Just say, if you are a fan of those old exploitation films, then you will probably enjoy this. You know? I think if you enjoy stuff like, I don't know, Ricky Splanicki, you know what I mean? Those kind of things, then yeah, this will probably play well for you. Like there's that gosh, what was it called? There's that Jennifer Lawrence film, right, from earlier in the year, where she plays the woman that is paid to date that kid in school, take his virginity. I forget what it was called, but if you enjoyed that, then I think you would enjoy this. It's I think like Love Lies Bleeding is a more interesting kind of exploitation-esque film, right? That one was just like, yo, the crazy effect, just all of this. I mean, this film, we do get these kind of cutaways to this kind of psychedelic, weird little vignettes, which I'm just like, it's interesting. I don't know why it's there, but it's interesting, So, yeah, Drive Away Dolls, right? I mean, it's something that's been in the works for a while. And Ethan and Tricia wrote it together, heavily invested in it. I think you get the sense that everyone had fun making it, but it's not quite for me. I'm curious to see what the follow-up is like, how that adds to the story, where we go from here, right? The follow-up is called, oh gosh, what is it called again? Honey Don't. We don't have a release date for that, and we don't know what the third film is to be called. But yeah, I watched this on Now TV. You can watch it on any of the VODs out there, right? So, Drive Away Dolls.